So the Bucks go down 0-2 in the series. Not much hope for a comeback the way the Bucks have played the last two games. I could blame the call on Giannis, the foul that put Butler at the line to hit the game-winning free throws with no time left. I think it was a horseshit call, if I'm being honest. Middleton kind of got a pretty generous one. The previous possession, I'll be real with you, I personally feel like it was a lot more justified of a call than the one on Butler because Dragic didn't really give Middleton much space to land. But, I just wish, for once in my life, that the Packers won the Super Bowl when I was 10 years old, and I wasn't nearly into sports the way I am now back then, of course. I was only 10 years old. I barely understood it. But, every year the Wisconsin sports fan base has a team that's just really, really good, really amazingly good. And we all think, oh, this team has an amazing title shot. This team has what it takes to go to the championship and win, right? And every year it's the same thing. They falter in the playoffs. Why is that? Why are we so unlucky with this? I just don't get it. Like, shit, how many teams have we had that's just been, we've thought, this is the team that can make it to the championship. This is the team that can win it all, And they fall apart in the postseason. It's like, it's getting to a point where I kind of wish that I was a fan of a team, that was just didn't have ever any expectations at all. That just never ever from where you could root for the small victories, like having a winning record one year, or winning a playoff game or something like that. But every year with us, we always have teams that are just like, they look historically good, they look amazing in the regular season. Then the playoffs come around and they just fall apart. They just don't play like they should play in the playoffs. And it happens every year. It happened with the Bucks. It happened with the Packers. It happened with the Brewers. It's happened with the Badgers. It's happened with every one of our teams in like the past, since like the Packers won the Super Bowl back in 2011. Every single year it's happened. For a whole decade. Why does this happen to us? Talking more about the Bucks game, though, I really don't see much way that the Bucks are able to come back and win this. They have to cut down on their turnovers. That's, I think, the biggest takeaway from this. Once again, they turned the ball over. They didn't turn it over that much. I think it was only like 14 times, which isn't egregious. It's not ideal. But the Heat scored like 22 points off of those turnovers. That was like the biggest difference in the game. Like, if the Bucks just do that one simple thing, limiting the turnovers, they would win this game. They would have won game 1 too. Instead, they're down 0-2. And another thing I really want to point out, I have been so much on the Coach Budenholzer hype train ever since we signed him. I was like, I love this guy. I love how he's able to get us into the postseason. I love how he's kind of fixed the issues we've had with Kidd with losing to mediocre teams and stuff. But truthfully, it's just been, he hasn't delivered. He hasn't delivered in the postseason. And his rotations tonight were horrendous. His coaching overall was horrendous. And it was horrendous in game 1 too. You could forget the turnovers. You could point to Budenholzer as being possibly the main reason the Bucks have lost the last 2 games. Possibly. I personally still think it's the turnovers, but Budenholzer is pretty high up on the list. His playoff rotation. So here's the situation in the game today, okay? So it was late third quarter. The Bucks had just tied the game. I think Miami called the timeout. It was 78-all. Budenholzer pulls like all the guys who are on the court doing well, right? Who had all the momentum in the world. And I get it, you want to try and rest your guys. But he puts in Pat Connaughton, Dante DiVincenzo, and Kyle Korver. 2 of those guys are horrendous defensively, and one of them has no offense whatsoever. Dante is the one with no offense right now, anyways. But it was just such a kick in the balls for the momentum of the game. I mean, that was truly where the Bucks had lost the game, even though they did eventually take the lead later on, early in the fourth quarter. That was where the Bucks lost the game, in my opinion, because they were doing so well. They took out Lopez, and they just fell apart. And it's like that's what's going to happen. But Coach Budenholzer has to realize that this is the playoffs. These are the playoffs. And he cannot continue to play these games as if, we'll be fine if we lose. No. We're 2 games away from elimination. 2 losses away from elimination. Budenholzer needs to get it through his fucking mind that you gotta play your guys as much as possible. I think that our starters, at least Middleton and Giannis, should be playing at least around 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. You rest your guys in the regular season exactly for this. And they got a huge, 4-month layover because of the pandemic, right? So why are they still playing 35, 38 minutes a game? Why aren't you playing them more? Why aren't you leaving your starting unit on the court more? Why do we continue to go with 10-man lineups? Why is Pat Connaughton playing at all? Pat Connaughton, as much as I love the guy as a person, he is not a guy you want in the rotation in the playoffs. He doesn't bring anything defensively. He's a horrendous perimeter defender. And his three-point shooting is very hit or miss. He was only 33% in the regular season. So why is he getting any minutes at all? Korver I can understand a bit because he's a historically good three-point shooter. I get that. But his defense is still bad, and I don't think Korver should be getting nearly as many minutes as he is. But this is all Coach Bud here. This is all Coach Bud. His philosophy, whatever he's trying to do, it isn't working against a team that matches up well for us. And I don't see enough adjustments from him. I don't see enough, desire to try and inspire the team to win. I don't see the right decisions being made by him. If I'm being 100% honest, I think that we should fire Coach Budenholzer if we lose this series. And that might seem premature, but from what I've seen in the playoffs the last 2 years, he has no ability to coach in the postseason. His lone good playoff win as a Bucks coach was against the Celtics, and that Celtics team was falling apart. They were out of it mentally, and as impressive at times as it was, that the Celtics really helped out the Bucks with that. And if we don't come back and win the series, if we don't at least get to the point we were last year, even then, I think we should fire Budenholzer. I mean, this team has everything he needs. All of these players are good enough to win a championship. We have the best player in the league, the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Chris Middleton, an All-Star, potentially an All-NBA player this year, Eric Bledsoe, a defensive first-team All-Defense last year, Brook Lopez, one of the best defensive centers in the league, can space the floor, shoot threes really, really well, a bench lineup that's got a lot of really talented, promising players. We have everything, and Coach Budenholzer has failed to rise to the occasion. If we lose the series, he should be fired. And I say that as someone who has always had Budenholzer's back. I've always defended him from, he can't play and coach in the playoffs or whatever. But I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing the light for the first time. And if he doesn't change something for the first time in his coaching career in the next few games and the Bucks lose this series, he should be gone. The goal should be to win championships, not win 60 games in the regular season. This team has been the number 1 seed 2 years in a row. If they can't get to the finals one of those years, he's gone. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm overreacting, but that's just what I think. So, turnovers, Budenholzer, and as a Wisconsin sports fan, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that we lost this game. I mean, beforehand, I was kind of nervous coming in. I had been kind of worried, nervous all day. And, when I have that worried, nervous feeling, I just know we're going to lose. I just know we are. I mean, I'm a Wisconsin sports fan. I know that feeling of we're going to lose. And I felt it before the game, and I knew we were going to lose this game. So, yeah. That's all I got to say, guys. I mean, when are we going to get a team that can finally pull through? When are we going to get one? This is just, it hurts so much. I don't see a way the Bucks are able to come back in this series unless Budenholzer, you know, even then, we already spotted them 2 games. Like, I feel like at full strength, this Bucks team is probably going to need 6 games to beat this Heat team. We already spotted them 2 games. Winning 4 in a row against this Heat team is going to be a monumental challenge, and I don't think the Bucks are going to be able to do it. So, that's all I got to say, guys. I'll see you next time.